Good afternoon. I'm Jason Medlock. Welcome to the expansion of consciousness. And our guest today is Manal El-Ramly. Manal is the author of Transcending Anxiety, From Fear to Freedom. She's also a fabulous TEDx speaker, and her topic is Why Do You Not Need to Search for Your Purpose? She's the creator of the Maintain Method and the beloved teacher on Insight Timer, with thousands of already benefiting from her and her guidance. Manal spent over 3 decades as a mechanical engineer. She's very smart now, earning both a bachelor and master's before blending that analytical training with this deep spiritual insight. And she's identified four bodies we all carry: the egoic, the mental, emotion, and physical, and still in conscience, which is a 5 step process for realigning them. This empowers us to reclaim our inherent worthiness, freedom, and our love, what she calls the unconditional three. Her work isn't about managing anxiety, it's about transcending it, removing limiting beliefs, releasing trapped emotions, and aligning body, heart, and her mind. In her TEDx talk, she even challenges the idea that you have to search for purpose, showing instead how to tap the wholeness you already carry. Isn't that beautiful, guys? And just join us as Manal shares her signature 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 framework, practical tools that find inner peace, and playful yet profound practice to celebrate our humanness, prepared to walk away with clear steps towards lasting freedom, no matter how chaotic your life feels. And guys, when I tell you she's a brilliant, brilliant woman, she really, really is. And I'm so glad that we were able to connect on our platform. I had a chance to read about Manal and just really understand who she is and what she brings to the table. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Manal on. Hold on one second. Hi there. How you doing, Manal?
Hello, fantastic. It's amazing to be here.
Well, awesome. And welcome to the expansion of consciousness. And I know that I told you when we were in the back office talking, this is a show to express anything that you like. We're going to have a wonderful time. And, you've been very successful throughout your career, mechanical engineer, God. And now you're talking about transcending anxiety and managing distractions and all the spirituality things you've been able to do. Tell us about that transformation from just from the start, the early start. Being going to school, getting the undergrad, getting the master's, being this really really smart analytical person to where you are right now.
Wow, Jason. Wow. Okay, first of all, I love your intro. And when I'm talking about your intro, I'm talking about all the words that you have in
Yeah,
your intro, not the intro to me, although I love that too,
I
but
did
the
too.
yeah. Thank you. But the intro and using all
Yes.
these words, trust, relax, and discover, and the expansion of consciousness, and
Mhm.
the word manifestation and spirit, and you had all these different words, and every as I watched it, I just really found myself getting into higher and higher vibration. So
Yes.
ultimately, my journey is one I feel like I can talk about my journey, but I haven't changed.
Okay.
So, and I can say that, yes, obviously I've evolved and I've grown and I've expanded. And this is what I believe the human journey is about, what we are here as humans. Since day one, I've always felt, Jason, that I was a seeker. Like,
Yes.
why? Why? Why are we here? Why are we here?
Oh, we're here to learn. We're here to co-create. We're here to experience through source. We are on a learning ground in this third dimensional construct. So this is us understanding emotions so that source can experience the physical while we as the spirit, the higher self, subconscious mind, whatever you want to call us, as we're experiencing this through this avatar, all of these lives that we live in multiple dimensions are passed up as information to source so that they can understand how physical realm lives, because we are made of light and sound.
Yes. Yes. So my whole life, my journey has been to get to that, Jason,
Yes.
to understand. And then there's another nuance I'll add to that, that I add to my palette of understanding. We're also here to enjoy the pleasure of our humanness,
Yes.
to be enjoy. So in the early days, I was a human, unconscious human, doing what I was supposed to do. I was a good girl trying to be smart and trying to feel a sense of control. Now that I realize that control is an illusion or a delusion, and it's all about feeling our internal, infinite, expansive nature.
You better
Our
speak.
infinite beings.
Keep going. You are hitting buttons. Go, Manal. Go.
So in the beginning, I played that beautiful structured game. And I identified, so I'm going to talk about the four bodies, but I identified with being a good girl. I identified with following the construct. I identified with getting external validation for the things that I was doing, following the path, getting my A's, getting these great degrees, a woman in engineering, then got married and I had my children. And I was following the beautiful house, the automobile, great career, identity, perfection, beautiful. I could be on a cereal box or do whatever it might do. And then I had a tower moment. A tower is up here, but I went like this. But I had a moment, and it was a bunch of different things. It happened personally, divorce, professionally. There was things going on with some boards I was on. There's just a whole thing, also personally with friends because of the divorce. And there was a moment that I had to step back and say, and I've always been seeking, why are we here? But it was that a big moment that say, what am I doing here?
Right.
What am I doing here? And that moment was full of introspection. One of the words that you had in your intro was meditation. I meditated for hours, not minutes, not 15 minutes a day, not whatever. It was to stop this mind and to let go of the external world and try to say, I don't care what's going on because I am losing control. I still have my insight. It was hours of meditation, hours and hours until truth started to radiate. And I realized I am not a professional. I am not a good girl. I am not a mom. I am not a woman. I am not all these things. I am. And I am. And I started to understand and break down humanity and wrote my book and then TED Talks and Insight Timers and all these different things. So that, Jason, was, I feel like it was a journey of construct to deconstruct, a story of illusion and delusion to truth, a story of seeking. And I'm going to say, I don't want to say that I'm not a seeker still, because it means that I'm finished. But so I'm still on the journey of seeking, questioning, asking, maybe more it's now allowing. And that was sort of where you're talking about channeling and allowing different spirits and stuff. So maybe more than a seeker now, I am an allower.
You are starting off this show on fire. Okay. And add those hours and moments of meditation and finding out I am, and that right there, I love it, because we are, and this is it. I am that I am. And to spend that amount of time in meditation, I'm a transcendental meditator. And to spend that amount of time, and when we transcendental meditate, we reach that level of transcendence, that, that level of water you can hear at the top of the ocean, the shh. And then when you transcend, you can hear the blue, 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 blue in the water. And as you go deeper, and then you are just at peace. And that's when the source starts to talk, and you can receive messages and you can hear clearly. And I'm assuming the method that you use, that's when you knew that I am. But I don't want to take us off our topic. I want to keep going. But there's a whole lot I see right now that we can get into. But Manal, you talk about transcending anxiety instead of merely managing it. Can you tell us what's the difference and why is that a distinction? Why that distinction is so crucial?
That's a really good question, Jason. Okay. Anxiety, I define it as unacknowledged fears. So I'm going to close my eyes and fears. I'm pointing. So I'm going to talk about the four bodies: the egoic body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the physical body. So I'm not acknowledging my fears.
Okay, we'll give you the stage. You have the stage.
Sorry?
You have the stage.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, fabulous. Our body is talking to us. We have our physical symptoms, and that could be tension and could be numbness and it's physical pain. We have our emotional body that's talking to us in sadness and anger and happiness and joy. We have our mental body that has stories and it's processing for all the four bodies. And ultimately, we want to get to our egoic body, which is ultimately this place of I am, truth. It's us finding and recalibrating to our unconditional worthiness and our freedom and our love. Worthiness, love, and freedom. And so ultimately, managing means that my symptoms are still speaking, but I'm still not listening to them, but I'm suppressing them. I have an acronym, which is called PAINS: projecting, amplifying, intellectualizing, negating, or suppressing. That's what we do with our four bodies. So we're going to project. If I feel bad or somebody makes me feel bad, I explode or I amplify. That was more example of amplification. I intellectualize. I shouldn't be feeling this. First world problems. I negate it, saying, no, I'm okay. Or I suppress it. They say, it's not that bad. But so that's what managing anxiety would feel like. It would be negating, suppressing, intellectualizing. And no, what I like to see is our body is talking to us. No different than a toddler that is trying to tell their mother or their father that they want something and don't have the words for it, or their parents aren't listening, so they have to break down into a tantrum. So our body is breaking into an anxiety tantrum because we're not acknowledging that it's scared. And what is it scared of? It is scared that it's not good enough. Hence my tower moment when I used my external life to validate my internal worthiness. No, whether or not I'm married or not married, whether or not I have children or not children, whether or not I have a career or not a career, we're the same worthiness. Whether I'm happy or love or finding love or lovable, regardless of being in a partnership or a relationship or having that family unit or friendship unit, we are love. We are the essence of love. And if we think the external world has to validate our internal nature, we're going to struggle. And we are free. We're trying to control, feel out of control, take drugs and suppressions and all these different things. But ultimately, there is no control. It's an illusion, and we are free. So if we listen to our bodies and the symptoms of the four bodies, the expressions, the shouts, and start to say, what are you saying? Instead of managing the symptoms, suppressing, negating, intellectualizing, amplify, or projecting, we actually start to allow them to direct us back to our unconditional worthiness, love, and freedom. Boom, transcendence.
Thank you, Manal. I mean, that distinction really shifts the entire paradigm. Rather than viewing anxiety as something we simply react to or something that we minimize, you're inviting us to go deeper by transcending. We're not just reducing symptoms, we're fundamentally transforming the underlying patterns in our four bodies, as you mentioned. So anxiety no longer holds the sway that it once did. And I'm assuming it's a radical upgrade from Band-Aid, so to speak, to root cause of whatever freedom that we're looking for. You just put that together so well. And you had a unique background. You have a unique background in engineering, blending with this spirituality. Tell us, how did that shape your approach to personal growth? And what is the Mattain Method exactly in relation to that?
Okay, fabulous. So yes, the essence is every experience that we have, because we're vibrational beings,
Yes.
are an indication, every external experience is an indication of internal, I want to say the word regulation or dysregulation, but an internal vibration. Let's use a nice clean word, a vibration. So what we see on the external world is an indication of our internal. So ultimately, if we use the external as a mirror to understanding our internal framework, there's where the growth and expansion that you were talking about, Jason. And it's not personal. It's we come in as these little wee babies with set of conditions that are chosen, given, whatever it might be. It depends on the mystery that you want to believe in. But so you sort of have this song. Manal's song was to find her freedom and to find her worthiness. And sometimes I thought that I always came in with love, and I am a ball of happiness and love. But every now and then I'm like, ooh, there we go. I'm looking externally for the validation of my lovability and forgetting that I'm actually this essence of love. So going from an engineer, so my education is, I'm trying to get in all of your questions, but also like wrap up what I heard you saying. So how did I get this framework? Again, as I said, I've always questioned. I was always a seeker. My dad was a logical one. My mom was the emotional one. And I was trying to always understand, how come, Jason, your experience was your way, mine was this way, a teenager has another experience, my child has this experience, this older, but unify it, because we're all humans, we're all going on the human journey. So how do I unify the experience, even though it seems very different than yours, to mine? And so that's like exactly like you said, it's coming to the root cause. So during my transitionary period, I don't know when I'd say, I had the opportunity of witnessing, going to a I don't know what to call it. It was a friend of mine invited me to home. She had her coach there. And in there, I was able to witness, I've always felt energy. Okay, I'm jumping all over the place because I'm trying to make sure I'm cohesive. I've always felt energy. Jason, I can feel energy. I can feel when somebody releases sadness or anger. I can feel in a movie when there's this relief. And I've always thought that everybody can feel energy, but I think everybody can, but everybody not might be fully aware of it. But I have a very strong, so in this, when my friend invited me, this life coach, I witnessed where he would bring in everybody in the room the opportunity to sit down and speak of their past and recognize where their past created imprints of physical pain on their body, and how that physical pain, he sort of asked us to close our eyes and look at where our body was feeling energy. People would go to their heart or to their jaw or different their shoulders. And then he said, okay, what does it feel like? And then when we went past what it felt like, what was the emotion? And then what's the story? So people could start to bring back and go as far as being in the womb, that they felt like they weren't good enough, that they were yelled at by their mother when they had an accident, when there were just different stories. And it was this, wow, we have these imprints in our body of these misbeliefs that we have. And by awareness, through just simply awareness, we could get rid of it, because the whole process was becoming aware of it, seeing it, feeling it, acknowledging, and then ridding it. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
I mean, your clarity is priceless. But your engineering mindset taught you to break complex systems down into components, parts, probably just as you now deconstructed the human behavior into egoic, mental, emotional, and the physical bodies you spoke of. And the Mattain Method becomes, I'm assuming, the blueprint for aligning each piece so that they move in harmony. In other words, you're marrying the precision of the data-driven systems, so to speak, with this nuance of inner stillness, so that growth is both measurable and it can be deeply experiential for the person who's actually experiencing it. I'm trying to grasp the response, and you keep talking about the four bodies, the
Yes.
egoic, the mental, the mental, the emotional, and the physical.
Physical.
Okay, the
Yes.
mental, the emotional, and the physical.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I know that you related them to you, but can you go back to it and explain what these bodies are? You started off just using you as the example, but what are
Yes.
they, and how each relates to anxiety and the overall well-being?
Okay, fabulous, Jason.
Okay.
So, yes, it's breaking it down to the root cause and finding an easy framework. And just because the framework is easy, it doesn't mean that achievement of the unconditional worthiness, love, and freedom is easy, because we are human and we're on our human journey. So that's a distinction that I want to make, because every time I talk about it being easy, 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 I realize, well, wait a second, I've been working on certain things for a long time. So I want to honor everybody that's listening, that's been on your journey. You're on your journey. So enjoy the process. Okay, so 4 bodies. The 4 bodies, I sort of alluded to how I came up with the 3 when I realized in that event that there was physical. So we have our physical body. This is a body that we all know about. This is the body, the vessel that's carrying us. And this is where we feel physical pain. And this physical body is not just our physical vessel, but it's also our life story. It's sort of how we view our life, as like Manal being a woman that's raised Middle Eastern, curly hair, blah, 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 blah. So our physical body, we know that we need to sleep well. We need to drink water, hydrate. We need to nourish our bodies, eat well, exercise. We already know as a society how to take care of our physical body. Then I'm going to jump to our emotional body. Our emotional body is one that's largely overlooked. And when I talk to and work with a lot of my coaching clients and work with a lot of my followers, the emotional body is where we want to build most of our muscles. This is where we hold our sadness, our anger, our fears, our happiness, our joy. And a lot of us have closed it off, or we're not aware of the expressions of it. And because we've closed it off and we're not aware of our expressions of it, we call it anxiety, a panic attack. And we have all of these different things because we're not turning around and realizing, oh, I'm feeling scared. Oh, I feel uncertain of the future. And we allow our emotional body, and a lot of the work that I do is about, I call it deconstructing the key lime pie. It's understanding the physical symptoms from the emotional manifestations, and then our thoughts. We have looping thoughts. We have in our mental body, we have all these things that we sometimes can't control. These thoughts are a synthesis of the expressions of the 4 bodies, because our mind is actually processing our physical. If we kick ourselves, it's our mind that says, ouch. So we blame our mind for not having our controlled thoughts. But ultimately, Jason, our mind is, if we turn around and become aware that I'm fearful or I'm scared of the future, my mind doesn't have to ruminate on those thoughts. And then lastly, my favorite body, and a lot of spiritual thing, it's called the spiritual body. I call it the egoic body. And this is in my TED talk. And actually, I have an article that was just released in O magazine about purpose. I call this the egoic body because everybody has an ego. We all have an ego. And society as a whole talks about the ego as a negative thing. But I'm like, wait, if I'm human and I have something, then it needs to be for a purpose, for a positive purpose. So I want us to start to realize that our ego has a purpose, and it's a positive purpose. And the problem is a lot of us has resistant egos, and it's resistant to the inherentness that we are worthy because we are worthy, we are loved because we are loved, and we are free because we are free. And when we doubt it, then it becomes resistant, and then it becomes what we talk about as the ego. But when we have non-resistant, then all of a sudden we have created this channel that allows this physical human with their emotional and the mind to connect to the supernatural, to connect to the consciousness. So opening up this to I am, rather than I am Manal, I am a coach, I am a this, I'm a mother, become I am, I become at one with the universe. And then I can be a channel for all things. And then I can allow and I can feel. And the 5 steps is awareness. Step 2 is acknowledgement that everything that we feel in step 1 is leading us to the unconditional 3. I talked about worthiness, love, and freedom a few times. Step 3 is, oh, right. After we aware and after we acknowledge we're actually moving towards this, oh, right, I'm human. I'm meant to experience these. This is growth and appreciation. This is growth and expansion. So step 3 is allowing. So awareness, acknowledgement, appreciation. Step 4, I used to call it release or letting go, but now I call it allowing, because now it's allowing the anger, allowing the fear, allowing all the sensations, and recognizing it's the resistance to it that hurts, it's not the anger that hurts, the resistance to the anger. It's not my arm that hurts, it's my resistance to it in this story that says I have a bad arm, rather than saying that my arm is sending me signals and let me listen, that's telling me to slow down and to allow the support of others around me, or whatever message it's giving. And then step 5 is ultimately what I think we're here to master, Jason, is surrender. So I'll turn the mic back to you.
I'm smiling. And so just to summarize,
Yes.
The egoic body is our identity or
Yes.
our sense of I am. And that's what you mentioned just a minute ago.
Yes.
And the mental body houses the beliefs and the thoughts, and the emotional body stores the feelings and the scars, and the physical body reflects our nervous system state, which is maybe anxiety, which often flares when those layers are out of alignment. And our ego fights our mind and our emotions, the wounds, sort of distorts our nervous system. So when I think about that,
Okay, can I pause you for one moment?
Sure.
Just let me pause. Let me just to calibrate that a tiny bit for the audience, and then I'll give back to you. Anxiety is all 4 of our bodies screaming. So anxiety in the physical body is that we're feeling tense, we're feeling tension, we're feeling this physical resistance. In the emotions, we're resisting our fears. We were not allowing ourselves to feel. In the mental body, we have thoughts that are going loop, 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 and doom and gloom and all of these negative thoughts. And the egoic body, we think we're not good enough, we're out of control, we're fearful of death, and we're not acknowledge all of these things that we're not in. And ultimately what Mattain Method is about, getting all 4 bodies in alignment and resistant free. So that's just the distinction. Yeah, I want to say all 4 bodies are screaming when we are feeling anxiety.
Getting those in coherent alignment.
Yes.
And, we can dismantle this cascade that manifests as this chronic fear that you talk about. And I want to go back to the human ego.
Yes.
Ram Dass, Be Here Now, the book Be Here Now, and where he talks about the depth of the human ego. But in your understanding, the human ego needs to be looked at as positive as well, needs to be looked at as I am. Yes. So, but you've developed a many processes, and you just talked about the 5-step process that you had. And I just think that's absolutely brilliant on your part, just to help people continue to grow. And many people assume this level of personal growth has to be hard work. Like they're just slogging through it, this pain and this resistance. And you say it can actually be easy. What do you mean by it being easy? Because we know you created the framework, but how can it be easy for the person who's trying to go through this?
Okay. There's a few ways. One is, we don't have to label good and bad, easy, hard, and first allow to be. So if all of us just, why are you laughing?
Because you keep hitting these strong points. Just be. And,
So
it's hitting me. My vibration is because Manal, you are excellent, and I resonate with some of the buzzwords you're hitting. I was about to drink my coffee, and all of a sudden you was like, just be. I'm like, oh God.
The problem is, if we keep trying to find things as good or bad, up or down, right or left, are you an early waker or a late waker? Are you optimist or a pessimist? Are you nocturnal, or like all of these different labels? We're putting life in a box. Sometimes, Jason, I stay up late. And sometimes I go to bed early. Sometimes I wake up early, and sometimes I wake up later. And I just allow, and some people wake up all the time early and go to sleep early or go to sleep. It doesn't really matter. But if we just allow ourselves to just be, things become easy.
Yes.
Things become easy. So it's sort of like letting go. So I'm going to tell you 4. Okay. So I've got the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, and the egoic body. So ultimately, in the physical body, acceptance. It just is one of the things that we talk about. The book is actually right sitting behind me to the left there. Maybe it's to the right for the way the
Grab it
camera is
so we
going to
can
distort it.
grab that book so we can put it on the screen.
Yes. So it just is acceptance of life. It's not personal. Nothing to happening is to us personal. It's all vibrational. We chose our life circumstances. We chose our mother. Our mother may have chose our father. We chose whatever. We chose our experience and we chose it so we can grow. It's not personal. That's acceptance and finding, and it's not intellectualizing. So through the whole book, I talk about don't intellectualize this. What we want to do is embody it by feeling it in our 4 bodies. Like, can you feel how much that I just sort of like accept the beauty of life, the mystery of life? And then in the emotional body, we can start to find a place of compassion, 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 compassion for myself, compassion for my life story. That then will give me compassion for other people, compassion for the mystery of life. So finding that compassion. And then ultimately, we want to know everything. It's not about knowing, Jason. Not about knowing. It's about trusting because we do not know. We know on the egoic level, but on the mental level, it's trusting. We ultimately have to trust life and death is not something that we can control. It comes from the mystery. So we know we're going to live. We know we're going to die. We know that there is life. We know there is death, but we have to trust that it will occur at a time that is for our highest good. So if we try to get the ego out of our mind and allow our mind to be this beautiful, serendipitous, harmonious player with our heart and our ego, and then we come back to the egoic body and it's ultimately surrender. There is a mystery. And if you want to call that mystery life, if you want to call it God, if you want to call it the universe, if you want to call it vibration, if you want to call it consciousness, what other words have I missed, Jason? Call it.
You said a whole lot, but but you've emphasized the unconditional 3. I heard you talk about that: worthiness, freedom,
Yes.
and love.
Yes.
Manal, why are these 3 so fundamental, and how can people actively reconnect to them when life throws them a curveball?
Ultimately, Jason, when I did the root cause analysis, so when I did my engineering and tried to break down the 4 bodies and looked at the resistance and looked at, okay, the 5-step, whatever, I saw that the common was I see that people are looking for worthiness.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be good. We want to be successful. We want to have relationship. Why? Because we want to be good enough. So that's worthiness. So my observation is all of us are doing something to be worthy. The other thing that I observe is that we're looking for love, happiness, peace. And that could be, again, through relationships. It could be through our careers. It could be through the things that we do, activities. But people are looking through love. I'm like, okay, so one is like, for me, I always thought, ooh, I feel stupid. And you're like, but no, you're smart. Like you introduced me as smart. And I'm like, ooh, that's one of my things, Jason, of being worthy, not for my academic understanding or intellectual understanding, but being worthy for me, for who I am, no matter what state I'm radiating at. And so love is the other one I acknowledge. And the third one, and all of these are associated with fears. So the fear of not being good enough, the fear of not being lovable or happy or ever finding inner peace. And the last one that I found that everybody is searching for, and this is the most profound, it's the fear of death. And that is articulated through control and the illusion of control. And that's why addiction, and this is what Gary Zukav talks about a lot in The Seat of the Soul, about addiction and control. And it's ultimately, we are free. Freedom and control are opposites, and we're looking to control. But when we realize that we are free to believe, we are free to think, we are free to feel, we are free to do, and we follow that we are ultimately free. But the and we do that by allowing and through surrender and recognizing that there's something bigger. There's something bigger. There's a mystery.
So by labeling worth, freedom, um, and love as unconditional, you're shifting a light on the fact that they're not a reward to be earned, but it's your birthright. Is that sort of what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
We are worthy. I think it was JFK that went to NASA. There's the story, and then asked the garbage man there, or the maintenance man, or whatever is the politically correct way of saying it, how are you aligned with the mission? And recognizing that everybody in the organization are aligned with the mission. And that's a human showcase of, it doesn't matter who you are and how you show up in the world. We are equally worthy. Doesn't matter your fame, doesn't matter your bank account, doesn't matter your success, doesn't matter the number of people that love you or your love. Every single one of us are infinitely worthy. Now, it's not enough for me to say it. Do you believe it? Do you believe, because me and Jason are here on this YouTube channel talking about expansion of consciousness, and you're season 6, and I may have gone on a TED Talk stage, that in any way that we're worth less or more than you or anybody else? And if the answer is yes, then that shows that you're not feeling that we're all equally worthy. And the more that I calibrate to truth, the more that I actually can feel the unconditional, infinite, equal worthiness of every single one of us. And then that opens up my heart to love. And it's not about what I've achieved or what you've achieved or what you're doing. It's simply by being.
Yeah.
Just by being.
Just by being and tuning into that baseline sense of your inner worth. And people should choose freedom over fear and remind themselves that love is always here in the heart, and it anchors us, and even in chaos, because when you can put love at the center of your heart, it raises your vibration in such a profound way. Just like Manal, when I want to raise my vibration, I think of this white light within me, and I emanate it throughout my entire body. And my frequency all of a sudden begins to rise. And then I emanate it in the entire room I'm working in, and into the entire house, the entire neighborhood, the entire state, the entire world. It takes me about right at a minute to go through all those stages of putting this pure white light, love, just to raise my frequency before I do a call, or before I do a coaching session, or before I do a hypnosis session. So what you're saying is absolutely beautiful.
I love it. And ultimately, there's so many different exercises and tactics. And many of the listeners are probably getting into their zone or light by doing the things that they love. I don't know why skateboarding is one of the first, because people went skiing, running, baking, cooking. Like, think about the things that you do that just get you, fill yourself naturally with light. Or through, like you're saying, mindfully seeing, because I play with light all the time too, and allow and see Roy G. Biv, the rainbow going through me, and having the light come from the source of the earth, and letting the universal come through the crown of my head. And so I play with light too. But then what I also love playing with, as much as I love playing, amplifying myself, I also love playing with my resistance and acknowledging when I feel, I'm going to use the word, I'm putting in quotes because I don't like to use it, triggered a excess amount of physical, emotional, mental, or egoic resistance. And I love playing and surfing in that, and trying to understand how it actually relates to one of my 3 universal freers. I call it the universal freers that are related to the unconditional 3, how it relates to it. And it's like, there it is. It's teaching me how to align with my unconditional worthiness. Oh, there it is. It's, oh my gosh, that indicated that I'm questioning that I am love. I am love. Oh my gosh. There I was, associating my freedom with the external world rather than recognizing that I am just free. And the awareness of that resistance ultimately removes it, because it's the resistance. It's when we're not willing to see that causes the pain, not the resistance, not the signal itself.
So
Yes.
I'm a level 2 quantum healing hypnotist, Dolores
Yes.
Cannon.
Okay.
Also a mental performance coach.
Okay.
And in both cases, I have
Yes.
clients that I want them to relax. I want them to surrender.
Yes.
Okay. But the concept of surrendering, many struggle with just the concept itself.
Yes.
So, Manal, what does it mean to surrender truly? Okay. What does it truly, what does it mean to you? And how can it help us let go of anxiety and help us find this lasting peace that we're looking for?
It's such a good question. It's such a big question. Surrender,
What does
first
it
of
mean
all,
to you?
to me, it means
Yes. Because we tell, as practitioners, we
yes,
tell our clients, you must surrender yourself. And a lot of us, now I practice many modalities,
yes,
galactic energy healing, a lot of different things. So
yes,
I'm deep into it. But a lot of the clients, and a number of the practitioners will tell them to surrender, and they're like, okay, I'm trying, but how do I do it? But what does it truly mean, Manal?
you've got Jason, you pushed me to articulate it in a way. It's not active.
Yes.
You cannot surrender.
Okay.
It's allowing what is.
There we go.
Surrender is not, I cannot tell you to surrender, because then you're going to give up. I cannot tell you to let go, because you can't. When we allow what is to be, and it's in all four bodies, it's physical. In my life, I was just coaching a young lady right now, right before this call, and I'm like, I gotta go. I've got my podcast, and I said to her, your homework, because is to just say yes. Your homework is that the universe is trying to give you clues. The universe is trying to guide you, but you're saying no. You're resistant to everything. Your homework is to say yes. And I said to her, but don't say yes to drugs, please.
but beautifully, you put it so beautiful, and clarified that surrender isn't resignation. It's a conscious choice to relax our grip on the trust
Yes,
that
it's
this deeper self can guide us through. In
yes,
this Maintain method that you use, and that may mean dropping the reactive resistance into each body, and the ego finally yields after the fight, and the mind steps back from the constant analysis and the worry, and the emotions learn to rest. Rest your emotions in awareness, and that shift from I must control to I allow this flow to happen is
yes,
the place where we can truly understand how to emerge.
yes. And I'm just bubbling to say, like, step one is awareness.
Okay.
That's not an active, it's passive. You're just objectively aware of becoming aware of your four bodies. This intention. Step one is awareness. Okay, awareness. Step two is acknowledging, oh, those were signals pointing me towards the unconditional three, worthiness, love, and friend. So it's, again, it's not active, it's passive. It's like, oh, I'm aware. And now I see that misbelief, the beliefs are actually in the egoic body, is that I'm not good enough. Oh, it was pointing me to realize that I am good. The external world was mirroring my internal world, and it was telling me that I'm not good enough. Oh, interesting. Step three is appreciation. It's still passive. It's not an active, it's recognizing, oh, this is a mystery. I'm a human being with a spiritual connection, it's a spiritual being living a human experience. And I forgot, this isn't personal. So it's, again, it's passive. It's not forcing, it's not intellectualizing, it's passing. And step 4 is allowing. It's allowing all the energies to be. And then when we master awareness, acknowledgement, appreciation, and allowing, we get to surrender. And surrender is on steroids, constantly recognizing that everything in life is just being. We're this beautiful, serendipitous, amazing, harmonious, beautiful, fun, inspiring, exciting flow with life.
Be here now. Manal, what's one simple action our listeners can take today to start shifting from a victim mindset to more of a powered state of mind?
Yeah, I call it a victor. I have mindsets. It's so funny because you're talking about all of the book. Part 1
Yes.
that makes you realize that there is no anxiety. You transcend anxiety because you realize that it's just expression of 4 bodies. And then part 2 actually talks about how to move fear to freedom. And then in there it talks about being present. So I absolutely love all of your questions, and you're just getting right on target. But okay, so to get this specific question, and I'm going to say to you, so, wait, tell me how you formed the question again. What did you say? Because I want to respond it.
Well, I'm wondering what one simple action our listeners can take today to start shifting, okay, to start shifting their from this state that they're in, this victim mindset, to a more
Yes.
empowered state.
Okay, so I had 2 answers in there.
Okay.
So the opposite of victim is victor or creator.
Mhm.
Okay, so one is recognizing. Now I'm going to answer it too, because I see there's 2 questions in there.
Okay.
One is, we are creators. We came on this human experience to create. Anytime you're a victim, it's because we're learning to recalibrate to our inherent worthiness, love, and freedom. We're learning to recalibrate to truth.
Yes.
And the greatest tool that we can use to recalibrate to our infinite nature is awareness. I've said it so many times. It's awareness. It's, not judgment. Oh no, there I am acting like a victim again. Oh no, this person did this to me. Oh no, the client that I was just talking to, she came in wanting to talk about a lot of different things and a lot of different people in her life that was making her feel this way. And I said, wait, the external world is a mirror to our internal world. So we can turn around and be a victim, or we can recognize that all of these players are actually coming in to mirror what's going on internally. So if we can simply just have non-objective awareness. Awareness. Oh, wow.
What are you
My
truly
shoulders feel
want out of
tight.
this moment? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm suppressing my fear. Oh my God, I believe that I'm not good enough. Oh, look at how my mind is going crazy. Oh my gosh, I want to blame this person for cutting me off. That's interesting. Oh, look, I feel like a victim again. Awareness, awareness, awareness. And if you can just shift to objective awareness, boom, huge.
Cognitive reframe.
Yes.
So
Yes.
absolutely. Are there any, we're hitting this mark where we need to stay within this YouTube algorithm so people will watch this show. Do you have any last words you'd like to share with the audience? And you are a coach, and maybe we didn't spend enough time talking about that. So just talk about your your business, your website, things that you have to offer. Give the audience a good understanding, Manal. We know that you're smart. We know that you're brilliant, and that you articulated so many beautiful points today. You had me smiling the entire time. But let's talk about you and how people can connect.
Fabulous. Okay, I'm going to do that by putting the mirror on you, the audience. What are you feeling? And what is it that you are looking for? I am on a mission to co-create. Jason, one of the words that we talked about in the beginning is creation, and co-create with other humans that are looking to grow and to expand, and do that by looking internally. So if you want to play with me in that way, I would love for you to visit my website, www.mattain.me/join me. And you can see I've got my steps to happiness and how to overcome anxiety. And you can get updates as what's going on in my world. I'm on Insight Timer. I've got meditations and talks, and I do weekly lives. And there's so much fun. We laugh and we grow, because growing and humaning is a fun experience. And my TED Talk, and we talked about being on Om Yoga, today the article was published. It's all about we are our purpose. Stop looking. Stop searching. Stop trying so hard. If I could say it to every human, I'd be stop trying so hard. We're doing it when we're happy. So find things, smell the flower, be at one with your pet, with the roses. Go for a walk. Take a deep breath in. Enjoy the infinite nature of that breath. I'm on YouTube as well, and Instagram, and it's all at Mattain by Manal. So I
And it's
love
in the
for
show notes. It's in the show notes as well. All of this information.
yes.
But you just
Yes.
caught me with the linguistics, this control that you have with your voice. I know that you're an outstanding coach, and I can just tell with how you use the tones. You seem like a natural NLP or hypnotherapist, but the inflections that I've witnessed and that I feel, I know that our audience would enjoy working with you. Absolutely wonderful, absolutely beautiful spirit. I'm going to move you to the back. Stay there. Let me close this out. I'm going to say some wonderful things about you. You don't want to miss this, okay?
Fabulous. My
Okay.
love, always.
Okay. I'm going to remove you right now. Hold on for 1 second, and let's wrap this up. Let's just say thank you to Manal for sharing so generously. Her engineering precision combined with this soul level insight gives us a roadmap for true sustained freedom from anxiety. And to our audience, to our listeners, if you like any of Manal's tools, if they resonated with you, and if you're ready to align your future, align your body, align your step into your unconditional three of the worthiness and freedom and love, and move as far as you can to this lasting peace, okay, then you make sure today that you learn, okay? You learn how to transform, okay? Manal has a free, maintained tribe invitation and a 10-step alignment with happiness. So join her supportive groups, like she said, the community that she has for ongoing guidance, practice prompts, and heartfelt connections, and become part of a tribe dedicated to authentic growth and inner peace. And in the show notes, you can sign up. Just click the link, and you'll receive Manal's newsletter. You'll learn her 10-step to align with happiness, and you'll gain exclusive access, guys, to her matched practices on her Insight Timer. This young lady does it all. If you enjoyed this episode of the Expansion of Consciousness, I invite you to like it, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little extra courage and clarity today. So just drop a comment below with your biggest insights and just let us know. And keep expanding your consciousness, okay? And until the next time, remember to relax, trust, and discover. Thank you so much, and good night.